Hi everyone, welcome back to the Academy here at Chesterfield Golf Club and the fifth and final episode of this Stop Slicing series. My name is Warren Bennett and we've got a mad dog here chasing his tail, and he's got two tennis balls, so it could be a noisy one with Trev today. So the last four episodes is taking you through all the fundamentals that we have clients that have problems with. So we've had the address, the backswing, the downswing and the follow through. And today's episode is all about trying to gel all these positions together, because look, I've given you a lot of kind of positions to swing through, and golf isn't a swing by numbers. Everyone's different, everyone's got different abilities and physical capabilities. So what today's episode is all about is trying to gel these together and give you kind of my top 3-5 feelings to take to the course. And we only really need 1 to 2 feelings maximum to take to the course. So I'm going to give you these and I'll see you in a bit. Anxious. So the first ones is all about stopping tension and increasing your rhythm. So everyone has different rhythm. I would have a slow rhythm. I talk quite slowly, I walk quite slowly. But everyone can take tension out of their hands. Excuse me. And to help this, go back to the very first episode of a finger grip, and especially the top hand. If you can get a finger grip, you can get more feel, and you don't need to grip it as hard. So if you can take tension out of your hands, you're able to swing the club more efficiently, and especially one that encourages a draw and to stop an excess slice. So the first one I would say is tension in the hands. If you can grip this club as light as you possibly dare, because then the golf club becomes heavier, and then that's easier to achieve what we've been talking about. So it's tension and rhythm. So you can really, especially in practice, you can really try and feel these positions we're swinging in if you just take a bit of pace off it. And we've all heard players say, when I slow it down, I play better. And what they're actually probably doing is they're allowing the club to do the work for them. And I've played with many golfers, club golfers, that have probably eased down on their swing and actually hit it further. Now that actually doesn't make sense when you think about it. But it's going further because they're not doing as much, and that's what they're feeling, but the actual golf club is doing more. And that's kind of back to my lesson I did and the video I did last year, where it's less is more. You're doing less and the club face is doing more. And this is what the downswing and the follow through videos are all about. So tension out the hands and really try and keep the rhythm as smooth as you can. Now, one area I would really encourage the rhythm to be at your most focused is the transition. So 3/4 of the way up your backswing to about 1/3 of the way down. If you can keep that the same pace, so there's no hitting from the top, because that's where a lot of problems come, as we all know. There's a golf ball on the floor and we're trying to hit it too hard from the top, and that really does encourage the over the top. So keeping that as light as possible in our hands and as smooth as possible in our hands. If you go back to the video where I'm encouraging this softness produces a good execution of where the club it drops down. Too quick from the top and it'll encourage over the top, especially if that's your fault. And remember what we're trying to do, we're trying to drop it in the slot. So the first feeling I would really give you is to take tension out of your hands and smooth the transition rhythm, so especially on the first tee. It's winter time in the UK right now, and when there's a wind into and it's cold, it's not easy to do that, especially if there's a wind into. We're trying to we get into it a bit too quickly. So the more you can smooth out this transition, whoops, thanks Trev, the better your golf swing will be, especially one that can help a slice. So that's number one. Let's go on to number two. Number two, I would get you into a position at the top of the backswing that's really going to encourage you to swing down. So I'd really encourage this coiling, so this twisting of your belly button, of your belt buckle, and that's really this is slightly exaggerated, because I'm kind of looking a little bit like that instead of tilting, because if you tilt, you're probably going to chop down across it. Very hard to change it. So the more you can get in this spine tilt away from the ball, pretty much your downswing's going to take care of itself. I'd say 50% of that. So that's difficult because as a golfer, we want to try and stay over the ball as much as we can. So what we try and do is sometimes we try and stay over the ball and we don't move and we tilt like that. So as a golfer, you need to try and tilt away from the ball. So that's not swaying, remember. That's just a little twist and really get your shoulders. There's no tension, but there's a little sitting into this right side. So the more you can get away from the ball here, the easier you will be to hit on the inside of the ball here. If I wanted to slice one, I'd want to get this way more and chop across it. So remember, we're trying to do the opposite. Really trying to coil away from it. Keep the tension out of your hands. You want to feel the club face very heavy. That's not easy actually with these modern clubs. Modern graphite shafts, titanium heads. Very easy, much lighter than they were back in the day. So I was playing with the old steel shaft and persimmon wood. Much heavier club, and you could really feel it much more back then. So I don't know if the problem was more now than it was then, but if you get a light grip, you can feel that club face even more, and you can feel the shaft even more. So the head becomes heavier, and that allows the club to drop and release. So that's number 2, increasing your coil and getting in a bit better position at the top. Okay, so the third tip is a follow-through feeling. It's all very well getting this backswing, and that's quite beneficial for this, but the more you can kind of focus on this follow-through feeling, I think most people will get in a better position pre-impact. Now when you think, if you roll the club face, it's probably better if I do this with an iron because you can see the face a little bit more. If I roll, which is basically release my right hand from what feels open, and I roll it 180 degrees, I will never slice the ball. So when you think about a releasing exercise, all you're doing is palm up with your right hand to palm down. Now that's exaggerated, but if you did that with a golf ball there, the ball will draw. What people do, remember the path, they swing across and open. So if you're able to drop your hands and club down and release your right hand, you will never slice it. Now, one tip, and one trap that people fall into when I give them that feeling, I would say a majority of golfers, when they first try and release their right hand, they do it with their right shoulder because it's an easy feel, and you can feel like you're doing it more when you do that. And what will happen there, you'll probably hit a smother and the ball will start left. What you're trying to do, remember, is to do everything mostly with your hands and arms, and then you can release it. So the third one is a release feel. Now, 2 kind of small ingredients in that recipe of the release is path, so feel like the club's going out to the right. Now that's a real big one, because taking that to the golf course, remember, where a slicer of the golf ball for a right-hander has their miss is to the right. So swinging out to the right is a really uneasy feeling for the golfer who slices. But you must trust that the more you swing right and release your hand at the same time, the more the ball will draw and miss to the left actually. So golf is a game of opposites. The more you swing to the right, the more the ball will miss left. The more you swing to the left, the more the ball will miss right. So it's trusting that process. So going onto the golf course, it's really trusting that swing. Keep it nice and rhythmical. So I'd really focus on the rhythm no matter what feeling, mechanical feeling you have, but definitely keep the rhythm as smooth as possible. And this release feeling, this follow-through feeling, is a release out to the right whilst your hand rolls over. So it's a very smooth release out to the right. So really make sure your path is swinging out to in. And one tip is that 4 o'clock hit. Looking down at the ball, the clock is a clock face from my perspective. 6 being into me, I'm trying to hit it south of 3 o'clock, which from the behind view, 3 o'clock is square. I'm trying to hit it at 4 o'clock. That's exaggerated, but to bring that club down, what you don't want to do is keep the right hand open. You need to feel like your right hand is ripping across the ball. The more you can get the club on the inside, potentially more lag you will have because the club's dropping down and inside. So you're not going to be able to cast it. So that will produce more lag without you even knowing. Remember, having a nice softer hand grip will really encourage the club to drop to. So hitting it at 4 o'clock whilst you're releasing it, not really a lot moving, maybe a little bit of right knee. It's a great swing to take out onto the golf course, that one. But it takes a bit of trust because the fault of a slicer, remember, like I said, is to the right. And I'm getting you now to hit to the right, and that's quite an uneasy feeling, but one you must do. Swing out to the right and release. Swing out to the right and release. Okay, so that's my third tip. Obviously don't take all those three because remember, a golf swing's over in 1 second and you can't blend all those feelings up in 1 second. One final thing, so this is like a practice ground exercise I'm going to give you now, and this can be done with any club. It's a speed drill exercise, and you'll be surprised about how many tour pros practice slow motion swings when they practice. So for instance, I've seen top pros swing like this because they're trying to feel and be aware of their swing during the actual action itself. Remember, that's a draw swing, probably a hooker swing. And that's 10%, and that's not a result swing. That's just a swing I'm trying to really feel these positions. So let's layer a little bit quicker. So a little bit quicker than that. Out to the right. Okay, let's layer a little bit quicker than that. That was probably 30. Let's do a 60. Felt quite nice. Remember, we're doing it slow so we can feel the motion while we're in motion. Right, let's see if we can ramp it up a little bit quicker than that. Make sure my posture's right. It's in my fingers, especially with my top hand. I'm going to really make sure I coil away from the ball and drop in the slot. And then release. 4 o'clock. That felt about the same pace as the last one. Let's see if I can speed it up. Getting a bit looser now. Okay, that was nearly full out. Okay, let me try one full out now. So I know I'm going to go at this pretty quickly, so I'm going to do a few practice swings. Drop and release. Drop and release, make sure my head's behind the ball. Drop and kick in a little bit. Making sure I'm hitting from the inside. Okay, let's go at this full belt. Oh no. Not the dreaded one. Okay. Okay, that felt pretty good. I could feel that club coming in from the inside. So that's one exercise. We're improving our movement through change of pace of swing. Then you can do that again. Or you could start from there. So you go up to 100% and then you come down again. Maybe feel a 50%, but remember, don't get sucked into trying to hit it too hard. The slower the swing, the less result based, because you're going to lose a bit of strike, but you're really here to try and feel like the mechanics. Much easier to lay those mechanics into a slower swing. Right, so changing speeds can really help the mechanics of your golf swing, because the more you're able to kind of slow this down and give you a bit of awareness time of what's going on while the club's in motion. Because as we know, going 100% all the time is very difficult to feel what we're doing because it's over in a blink of an eye. I'm here to teach you to teach yourself, because out on the golf course, it's 4 hours and a lot can go wrong, as we know. So what you don't want to do in golf, you don't want the snowball to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you want to walk off the golf course because you don't know why, and you don't know why things are happening out there. So I'm here to kind of try and get that fixed quickly so you can see the golf ball, because remember, the golf ball is the best teacher out there, but you need to know why the ball's doing what it's doing and then how to fix it. So hopefully all these little tips and drills are here for you to look back on and hopefully improve and stop slicing. Right, I think I'm going to do another series maybe in a few weeks, may do one a month actually. And I think I'll do the next one on chipping, but I'd love to hear from you if there's anything specific you would like me to do, either on a series or on a single video. I'm going to start the video again, start the Tuesdays and Fridays, so the next video will be up on Friday. And I look forward to seeing you then. All the best. Cheerio. Bye-bye. All right, Trev, come on then, buddy.